All right, good evening, everybody. So tonight we're going to continue our discussion on budgeting, but with particular flexed budget, flexed budgets, flexed budget. We've talked about production budgets. We've talked about cash budgets that entails profitability statements and entails cash flow. And I asked some of us to actually attempt the question again, to solve the question again, in which some persons have done that. But I'm still going to ask again in this class. How many of us have made attempts to the question? You try to solve again. So I asked us to solve a question on Omogweji. Yes, there's another question that looks like the one we solved in class. Yes, Madam Blessing Abus. Yes, fine. Blessing Abus. Can you share your experience why you solved that question? In the process of solving that question. Can you share your experience? What did you discover?
And in the question, I think the purchase is not given, but they actually tell us how to get it. They said 30%, 40% of the sales price. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So have you attempted the other one? You know, I forwarded 3 questions. We solved one. So as you solve the Omogweji, you now move to the one tested in November 2025. That is the, you didn't do the next one.
Yes,
So
sir.
you try and go and do that. Then once you do that, you now move to that of November. Yes,
Okay.
November 2025.
Okay, sir.
Move to November. It's very important to solve it. It's very important. Yes,
Okay.
let me see. Let me still assess some persons in this class. Madam Odun Ayo, did you solve the question, ma?
Good evening, sir. I've not
Good evening, ma.
done it, but I will do it tonight, sir, and forward it to you. I've been very busy, so I just got to my work. I will do it, sir.
All right. So once you solve it, just compare with the one in the Pathfinder. Yes,
Okay, sir.
and see
No
how.
problem.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Let me talk where. Yes. Talk where, are you there? You don't want us to hear your voice.
Wow.
Talk where, I can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, fine.
Okay, yeah. Good
Yes.
evening.
Good evening. I can see your great work. Yes. I want you to share your experience about the November 2025 question.
Okay. It's actually more complex than the one we did in class and the assignment. So there are lots of credit sales and all of that. But the particular thing I actually missed out and which made my solution to be wrong is the depreciation. So we were supposed to remove depreciation from variable costs, but I overlooked it. So depreciation, that was one of the challenges I had. Then there's another note that they gave about purchases being material being purchased a month earlier. So that means for December production, the material is being purchased in November. So when you're doing your labor budget, the material purchase for November will be the one you will recognize for December. I don't know if you understand that part. So that's the part that actually gave me issue. And it took me a long time. I actually had to use 2 days to solve it. So that's it.
Okay. All right. Yes. Yes. I actually want you to share that experience on this platform, even though you shared that with me. Yes. So why I'm doing this is to encourage everyone that you need to solve, you need to create time, no matter how tight your schedule is. So just create time to solve questions. As I will always say, it is when you solve, you'll be more exposed. And I want you to have this mindset that there is nothing that you cannot know. Yes. If you think something is hard, it's not hard, you can know it. The point is, you might not be in the mood to learn it at that point in time, but there is nothing that you cannot understand. Yes, there's nothing that you cannot understand. And so you can understand anything once it is being explained to you, and you put extra efforts to see that you appreciate that task. You understand it. Even if they bring physics to you now, you understand it. So don't say anything has been difficult. So please, if you've not attempted those assignments, those questions, do well to do. Yes, it's for your own good. Yes, it's my wish that everybody pass and move ahead. That is the aim. So that is the aim. So in this class, we'll look at another aspect of budgeting. Yes, we'll look at another aspect of budgeting, of budgeting, of budgeting. And that aspect is flex budgets. For like 2 diets now, it has not been tested. So I'm taking it upon myself to touch every aspect of budgeting so that wherever the examiner is coming from, you'll be very fine in attempting questions, in solving the question. So this flex budget is very simple. It's not difficult. Yes, if you understand the terminology. So trust God to grant us the grace to simplify it very well. So when we talk about flex budgets, when we talk about flex budget, sorry, let me respond to your message. So when we talk about flex budget, please follow the definition. It is when you understand the definition, you'll be able to play with the figures. A flex budget is a budget that is adjusted to the actual level of activity achieved. A flex budget is a budget that is adjusted to the actual level of activity achieved. It is a budget that is prepared after the actual results have been achieved. So how do you prepare this flex budget? In a question, you'll be given budgeted figures, budgeted values. You'll be given actual values. You'll be given the budgeted figures of your materials, of your labor, of your variable cost, based on the overall units that is being produced. For you to solve the flex budget, you must convert the figures given to you in the budgeted statement to unit value. For example, you are giving labor cost 50,000 naira. You need to find out how much you will incur to produce 1 unit in terms of labor. So, for example, I have a production of 10,000 units and I have labor cost to be 50,000 naira. For me to get the value of 1, I will say 50,000 divided by what? 10,000 to give me the value of 1 unit, so producing 1 unit. So this flex budget, it shows what costs and revenue should have been for the actual level of production or sales using what? The standard cost behavior. The standard is also the budgeted. So a flex budget makes, sorry, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, my screen is visible. I'm not moving it yet, just still on flex budget. Still on flex budget. So a flex budget makes a fair comparison by comparing your actual cost with what? Your revised budget. The revised budget is the flexed budget at the same activity level. So let me reshare my screen so that you can have access to it in case you are not seeing it. So this flex budget is a budget that is prepared just for 1 activity level. Yes, I'm emphasizing this so that you not confuse it with flexible budget. The flex budget is a budget that is prepared for 1 activity level. So the point is this: when actual output differs from the budgeted, it means you have what we call variance. You have variance. So once you compute your flex budget, you compare your flex budget with your actual. So to determine your flex budget, from my slide, I put forth some words there. That's the key features of a flex budget. Take note: adjust to actual activity levels. What are you adjusting? Your budget. The budgeted figures given, you adjust to the actual activity level. So instead of using static estimates, a flex budget recalculates costs and revenues based on actual performance. As I've said in the question, you'll be given budgeted, you'll be given actual. So what you do is to convert your budgeted values into unit values. Then you multiply the results of your unit values by the actual unit produced. So the purpose of flex budgets. Why do we have to compute flex budgets? This flex budget is important because it aids in fair performance evaluation. The essence of having flex budgets and actual is to compare performance, is to evaluate performance based on our estimates. How well have we performed? So the flex budget helps to improve cost control. Once we set a target that this is our expectation, but our expectation deviates. We experience deviation, and that deviation results into variance. For us to have a proper assessment and reason why we have this deviation, we can come up with flex budget. So this flex budget is adjusted to the actual level of activity. And as you adjust it to the actual level of activity, it aids in comparison between what your budgeted and your actual cost. And once you discover these differences, what do? You make adjustments so that such variances will not occur again. So the key features of a flex budget is that it enables more accurate performance evaluation. And one thing with solving flex budget question is that you work based on marginal costing concept. Like you separate your fixed and your variable cost. At a point, your selling price less variable cost, you get your contribution. So your contribution, from that point, you solve to determine your profit. So now, there is this simple question I usually use to illustrate what this flex budget is all about. Though I didn't forward the question to the platform. But I hope we'll be able to see it clearly to explain the issue of flex budget. This is the question. Can somebody read? Is my audio breaking? Still breaking? Can you hear me, please?
I can hear you, sir.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right.
we
Can
can.
somebody read this question, please? Yes, can we read, please?
The company has separated the following fixed budget for the coming year. Sales, 10,000 units. Production, 10,000 units. Direct material, $50,000. Direct labor, $5,000. Variable overheads, 12,500. Fixed overhead, 10,000. We have budgeted selling price is 10 naira per unit. $10 per unit. At the end of the year, the following cost has been incurred for the actual production of 12,000 units. Direct material, 60,000. Direct labor, 28,500. Variable overhead, 15,000. Fixed overhead, 11,000. The actual sales were 12,000 units for $190,000. A. Prepare a fixed budget for the actual activities for the year. B. Calculate the variance between actual and fixed budget. Flex budget. And is summarized in a form suitable for management. Use a marginal costing approach. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So looking at this question, we have two parts of the question. We have the fixed budget parts, and we have the actual performance of the business. So looking at this question, we have a fixed budget in terms of sales to be 10,000 units. The production budget is what? It's 10,000 units. This is just coincidence. It will not always be like that. Please take notes. Now, in terms of direct material budgeted to produce 10,000 units, we have $50,000 been budgeted to produce 10,000 units. To produce 10,000 units, you need to incur 25,000 in terms of labor and variable overhead that will be incurred to produce 10,000 units. You need $12,500, and fixed overhead required to produce 10,000 units. You need what? $10,000. Now, let me say something that fixed overhead, fixed cost remains constant. It does not change, even when you are trying to solve your flexed budget. Even when you are solving flex budget, it does not change. It does not change. Let's take note of that, please. It remains constant. It remains constant. But for actual, in some question, you can be given actual in terms of fixed overhead. You work based on the actual values given to you in relation to the fixed overhead when you are trying to compare your actual with your flex. But your budgeted fix and your flex budget fix will always be same, will always remain same. So now in this question, we have budgeted selling price is what? Is $10 per unit. Budgeted selling price. So if you have budgeted sales to be 10,000 units, how much revenue will accrue to this company if selling price per unit is $10? Can I get a response?
100,000.
Fine, 100,000.
100,000.
100,000. Fine. That is $10 per unit multiplied by what? 10,000 units. Yes, 100,000. 100,000. So in terms of fixed budget, your revenue will be what? 100,000. 100,000. Take note of that. Now, for you to flex your budget, I said earlier on that these values here, these direct material, 50,000, direct labor, 25,000, variable overhead, 12,500, fixed overhead, 10,000, you need to get their unit value. It means for direct material, how much will you incur to produce 1 unit? You know, this figure of 50,000 units is what you will use to produce what? 10,000 units. So how much will you use to produce just 1 unit? Can I get a response to that? To produce just 1 unit, how much will be the value for 1 unit? If you have 10,000 units to produce and you incur overall 50,000 units, to produce 1 unit, how much will you incur?
$5.
$5.
$5.
All right, fine. $5. That is what? 50,000 divided by what? 10,000 units. $5. That $5 that you derive, because you are flexing the budget in relation to the actual, what will you do? It will be $5 multiplied by the actual unit produced. From this question, what is the actual unit produced?
12,000 units.
12,000.
12,000 units.
So the flexed value will now be what? 5 multiplied by 12,000 units. That will give you your flexed value in terms of direct material. Please take notes. Take notes. We are going to solve it. I'm just explaining. It's very important you get it. We're going to show the workings. Yes. So it will be 5 multiplied by 12,000 units. Please take note. You can see actual sales 12,000. You can see actual production 12,000. They are just, it's coincidence. It will not always be like that. Actual production is different from actual sales. In this question, it's just by coincidence that the whole thing you produce is the whole thing you were able to sell. And that is why you can see actual production is 12,000, actual sales is 12,000. So take notes. It will be different, always be different. Now, for direct labor, how much will you incur to produce 1 unit? What will be the labor rate for 1 unit? If overall you incur $25,000 to produce 10,000 units, what will be the labor rate per unit?
2.5.
2.5.
2.5. So what will be the flexed budget now in relation to the actual production? It will be 2.5
It's 30,000.
multiplied by what?
12,000.
30,000.
30,000.
Multiplied by 12,000. You have what?
30,000.
30,000. 30,000. Fine. That is the flexed value. That is the concept of flexed. You trying to adjust your results in relation to the actual results. For variable overhead, the result will be what? For variable overhead, the unit cost for 1 unit will be what? For variable overhead.
1 naira 25 kobo.
Yes, 1 naira 25 kobo. In relation to the actual, it will be what? It will be
15,000.
15,000.
3,000.
To be 15,000. Fine. So at this point, let's show the workings in tables. Let's show it so that those that have question, how are we getting the
Please,
figures?
how did you get the 15,000?
Don't worry, ma. That is why I'm going to show it in my tables. I mean, the system is slow. Yes, my system is slow. I'm just trying to. Right. Let me switch. Just 1 minute. Let me switch. All right. Can you hear me now, please? All right, fine. You can see the interface here is not as bright as the other one. All right. So to solve that question, we have our solution. We have our solution. So we're going to have our budgets. We're going to have the flexed column, and we're going to have the actual. Now, from the question says that what prepare a flex budget for the actual activity for the year. Calculate the variances between the actual and flex and summarize in a form suitable for management. Use a marginal costing approach. Now, using marginal costing approach, start with your sales value. Now, in terms of budget, what will be your sales in terms of revenue? What will be your sales?
100,000.
Is 100,000. And how do we get that 100,000? If you go to the question, see it here. Budgeted selling price is what? $10 per unit. Is what? $10 per unit. Multiply by the sales. The sales in unit is what? It's 10,000 units. 10,000 units. So what will you do? You have it as what? 10 multiplied by what? 10,000 units. The result will be what? Be equal to what? 100,000. 100,000. Now for the flexed value, what will be the result? The selling price, budgeted selling price for 1 unit is what? Is 10. See it here, $10 per unit. In relation to the actual units, produced, the actual unit produced is what?
12,000.
Actual unit produced is 12,000. So this value, $10 per unit multiplied by the actual unit produced, you're going to have what?
120,000.
Going to have 120,000. So we have it as 10 multiplied by what? By 12,000 units. And the result will be what? Will be $120,000. Now, in relation to the question, the actual sales value is what? Anybody spot that out? The actual sales value is what?
122,000.
122,000. The actual sales value is 122,000. Say it here. The actual sales were 12,000 units for $122,000. So your actual sales will be what? $122,000. $122,000. Now, since we are applying the marginal costing approach, we will need to less our variable costs. From the question, our variable costs And take notes, whenever you are asked to solve questions on budgeting, on flex budgets, this is the approach. Now, one thing with the exam is that they will not tell you use flex, solve for flex budget. They will either use this term, redraft the budget. Redraft. So you will not see using flexed budget approach. No, you see redraft. You see recalculate. So once you read the question, you will see these elements in the question, and you will know that you have to solve for flex budget. But there will not, some questions, some examiners will not put it to you directly. That's using flex. You see one of the questions, or both questions I forwarded on the platform, they didn't use the word flex. Say redraft, recalculate. So now, to solve our variable costs, in the question, we have variable costs, direct materials, direct material. So in terms of direct material, your budgeted value is what? Direct material. Your budgeted value is what?
50,000.
50,000.
$50,000. $50,000. What will be your flexed value? You get this 50,000. This 50,000, you get the unit value to produce what? 10,000 units. To produce 10,000 units, you will need what? 50,000. So to produce 1 unit, how much will it cost? We've explained that before. It will be in this 50,000 divided by what? Divided by 10,000 units. This 10,000 is the unit you produce. You incur 50,000 to produce 10,000 units. How much will you incur to produce just 1 unit? To produce just 1 unit, it will be what? It will be $5. So to flex this value, you are flexing in relation to what? To the actual unit produced. So 5 multiplied by 12,000 units, it will give you your flex value for direct material. So 5 multiplied by 12,000, this will result into what? This will be what? 60,000. This will be 60,000. For your actual, in terms of direct material, how much do you incur? $60,000. $60,000. So you just write here $60,000. Please, is this clear? Is this clear,
Hello,
please?
sir. Hello, sir.
I'm with you, ma'am.
I didn't get it. Though.
At what point didn't you get it, ma'am?
I was locked out. I understood the cells. So the variable cost, I was not there. I'm just joining back.
So the point is this, ma'am. For this, this is your budget. Your budgeted values. From this point, sells 10,000 units, your budgeted sales. Budgeted production. You can meet yourself, man. Your budgeted production is 10,000 units. In terms of costs, budgeted costs, we have direct material, direct labor, variable overhead, fixed overhead. These are the overall costs to produce 10,000 units. To produce 1 unit, how much will you incur for direct material? We are here. It says for budgets, the actual amount is 50,000. For you to flex in relation to actual, what will you do? Convert or get the value of direct material for 1 unit in relation to the budget, which is 50,000 divided by 10,000. The 10,000 is your production, which is this. How much will you incur? To produce 10,000 is 50,000. To produce 1 unit, it will be what? 50,000 divided by 10,000. You will incur what? $5 to produce just 1 unit. This 1 unit value, multiply it by the actual production of what? Of 12,000. This will give you what? The flexed value. The flexed value. Adjusting the actual based on the budget. Based on the budget. And that is termed as what? The flexed. So 50,000 divided by 10, you have $5. $5 multiplied by the actual units produced, you have what? The overall flex value for direct material. For direct material.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Madam Juliet.
Sir, I understand all this figure, but the reasons I did not get it very well. We are using both the budgeted figure and the actual. Can you please throw more lights for my understanding, sir?
All right, at the beginning of this class, we explained that flex budget is prepared after the actual for proper comparison, and flex budget is a budget that is adjusted in relation to the actual production in units. Now, the flex budget, once you have your actual, for you to get your flexed value, you convert your budgeted figures into units. The unit value of your budget, that is the standard cost now, multiplied by the actual unit produced, is your flexed. And the reason for doing this is for comparison, that if your actual have been in this form, what will be the actual result? What will be the actual result? So we are comparing unit value of your budget in relation to the actual units produced. So instead of having just a fixed estimate, what we do in flex budget is that we recalculate the budgeted cost. In relation to the actual outputs, to the actual units produced. That is the reason for flexed. On a normal day, you can just compare your budget with your actual. But in this case, we are saying no. How can we make our budget to conform with the actual? By converting the overall budgeted figure into unit values and multiplying the unit values by the actual units produced. I don't know if that is fine.
Okay, sir, thank you.
All right. For direct labor, the budgeted value for direct labor is what? Direct labor, from the question, the budgeted value is what?
$25.
5,000.
Direct labor. Direct labor. The budgeted value is 25,000. The flexed value will be what? You convert this 25,000 to unit value. In converting this 25,000 to unit value, it will be what? 25,000 divided by what? Divided by 10,000 units. And this will give us what? This will give what? 2.5. This will give 2.5. Now, in relation to the actual unit produced, the actual unit produced is what? 12,000 units. 12,000 units. So the flex value of direct labor will be what? 2.5 multiplied by 12,000 units. This will give us what?
30,000.
30,000. Your actual in terms of direct labor is what?
28,500.
28,500. 28,500. 28,500. Any form of direct labor or direct variable cost again, we have variable overhead. Variable overhead. These are overhead that varies with the production level. So it is a variable cost. It's a variable cost. So the variable overhead budgeted value is 12,500. We have it as variable overhead. Variable overhead. Budgeted figure is 12,500. The flexed will now be what? The flexed value will now be what?
1.25.
That is, this 12,500 divided by the production in units. That is 12,500 divided by what? 10,000 units. So we have it as equal to what? 12,500 divided by what? Divided by 10,000 units. So the result will be what? That is 1.25. In relation to the actual unit produced, the actual unit produced is what? 12,000. 12,000 units. 12,000 units. So 1.25 multiplied by 12,000 units. You have the flex. You have the flex value, and which will be what?
15,000.
15,000. 15,000. In relation to the actual, the fixed overhead is what? Variable overhead rather is what?
15,000.
15,000. Using the marginal costing concept, are we going to come up with our fixed costs at this point?
No, sir.
So what are we going to do? You get your contribution. That is selling. That is your sales less your variable cost. So your total variable cost is what? When you add your variable costs, the total variable cost, you can solve it in that order, or because of time, your sales for budget, 100,000 less 50,000 less 25 less 12,500 will give you a contribution of what? You know, we've established that sales less variable cost is contribution. So your sales less your variable costs or revenue.
12,500.
Okay, for budget, the contribution will be 12,500. 12,500. That is 100,000 less 50,000 less 25 less 12,500. The result will give you 12,500. For your flexed, it will be
15,000.
yourself. Okay, 15,000. That is your 120,000 less what? 60,000 less 30,000 less 15,000. Your contribution will be what? 15,000. 15,000. For your actual, your sales less the variable cost give you what? One.
18,500.
Will give us
18,500.
18,500. 18,500. So this is your contribution. For you to get your profit, what will you do?
Mr. Toko, I don't understand this.
Less fees cost.
Please, what is it that you don't understand, man?
How do we get 18,500?
To get your contribution, man, what is the formula?
Sales minus variable cost.
So looking at this table, can you ascertain that? Your sales is 122, less variable cost of 60, less variable cost of 28,500, less variable cost of 15,000. What is your calculator giving you?
Okay, I've gotten it. I've gotten it, sir. Thank you.
So to get your profits, what are you going to do?
Less fixed cost.
Less fixed cost. Less fixed cost. Less fixed cost. So less fixed costs. From the question, our fixed costs include what? Fixed overhead. So the fixed costs include what here? The fixed costs for budget is what?
10,000.
10,000. I said something about fixed cost when we started the class, that when you are treating fixed cost in relation to flex, what will happen? For those of you that joined the class as at when we started, when you are treating fixed costs, your budgeted fixed cost and your flex fixed cost, what is the relationship?
The same.
They are the same. They are the same. Your fixed cost for budgets and the flexed will be same. But the actual, you make use of your actual fixed cost given in the question, because you're trying to make your budget to conform with your actual. But for fixed, the fixed for budget and for flex will remain same, while the fixed costs actually used to produce the actual production will be used under fixed and flex. The value of fixed will remain same and not change. But for the question we made use of. So fixed cost for budget is what? It's 10,000. So for you to get your profit, it's contribution less fixed cost. For you to get contribution, it is fixed cost plus profit. So this is fixed costs for budget. For flexed, it will remain what? Same as what? As 10,000. For your actual, what is your fixed cost? Your fixed overhead?
11,000.
11,000.
11,000. 11,000. So we have it as 11,000. What will be your profit for each of these?
2,500 for budget. 5,000 for fixed. 7,500 for actual.
This will be 2,500.
2,500.
That is 12,500 minus 10,000. For flexed, it will be what?
5,000.
5,000.
5,000. And for actual, it will be what?
7,500.
7,000.
That is 18,500 less. Yes, 18,500 less 11,000, 7,500. The question: prepare a flex budget for the actual activity level for the year. The flex budget is what you've seen, is what we've computed. Calculate the variances between the actual and the flex budget. Now, looking at this flexed and actual, do we have difference? The difference between the figures will give us the variance. So your variance is deviation from plan. Your variance in terms of sales, what is the difference between your flexed and your actual? The difference between your flexed figure and your actual is what?
2,000.
2,000. Fine. In variance.
Adverse.
Okay, very good, ma. I'm coming there. In variance, we have two possible outcomes. And the outcomes is that the variance can either be favorable or adverse. Now, take notes, please take notes. When it is sales, when it is revenue, if your actual is greater than your budgeted, it is favorable. Because what you plan to sell is 120. You plan to get 120,000. But the market was so pleasant, so good, that you now generated a revenue of 122,000. Is this an adverse result?
It's a favorable result.
Favorable.
It's favorable. But
Favorable.
when it is cost item, when it is cost, take notes. When it is cost and your actual is greater than your budget, it is adverse. Now, you plan to incur $60,000 on direct material. Going to the market, you ended up spending 65,000. Is this a favorable one? No, it is not favorable because this is adverse. You've incurred more than what you budgeted for. So you should ask yourself, is it that I have not priced well? Is it that inflation has set up in the market? why have the price deviated from what I planned for? Yes, so in computing variance, in which we are still going to talk about, I think by next weekend, we should be talking about variance as a topic. So once there is deviation from your actual and your budget, you have variance. So beyond knowing how to determine your variance, some questions can tell you to interpret your results and tell them, why is this variance occurring? Is it that those at the factory are wasting the materials? They are not using the materials as expected? Is it that there is too much machine breakdown? Reason why we're having idle time in our production process? So all these things, there is reason for them. So you don't just compute variance. Variance does not just occur like that. It occurs based on certain factors that are beyond the organization control. So now, in terms of revenue, as just citing this, you quickly said it is adverse because you discover the actual is greater than what the flex value. That is not so. So this is sales revenue, income.
Thank you.
So in this case now, the difference between your actual and your flexed is what? Is 2,000.
Favorable. 2,000.
2,000 favorable. 2,000 favorable. Now, in relation to the direct material, what will be the variance? We are comparing flex and actual. Flexed
0.
figure and actual. So, is there any variance between both?
No. No.
Nil. Variance is 0.
Variance is 0.
0.
Variance is 0. In relation to direct labor, do we have any variance?
Yes.
1,500 favorable.
Not favorable.
Okay, favorable. Why is it favorable
Not
now?
favorable.
Because it's favorable. Because the flex is higher than the actual.
Okay.
So if you are saying it is favorable, why is it favorable?
Because the flex is higher than the actual.
Okay.
We spent less.
Okay.
You know when actual
We
is higher
spent
than
less
flex,
than what
that's
was
favorable.
So which
because
position
that
are
one
we
was
now?
the revenue. We were talking of sales. But this one is cost now.
It's expenses.
Uh-huh.
All right, fine. So this is favorable. You know, I think I have the proportion of female in this class, those that used to do budget before they go to the market. When you plan to buy this and you are taking it, you branch to a shop, they tell you the cost of this has skyrocketed to this beyond what you put down because it's quite long you visited the market. You see, your plan have been altered. Yes. So once your actual in terms of cost is less than what you budgeted for, you'll be glad, you'll be happy. But once your actual is greater than what you budgeted for, you'll not be happy. So in this case, our actual of 28,500 is less than what we planned for, 30,000. So it is what? It is favorable. You'll be glad. So in terms of labor, is either you were able to bargain with the workers, yes, or maybe you were able to get cheap labor, yes, and you pay them less. So that might be the reason.
Maybe there was no idle time.
Okay, fine. Maybe there was no idle time, so everything was working fine. So this can be the reason why you experience what? A favorable result. A favorable result. So beyond just computing, you must come up with reasons. Sometimes the question can ask you, state the reason for this variance. So that is why I'm just chipping up these these reasons. So now the next one, variable overhead. What is there is no variance here because 15 and 15 are same. There is no variance here. There is no variance. So coming to our fixed cost, our contribution, we are not comparing it because it's just the result of, you can decide to compare likewise. It's just the result of what? Of the two here. Yes, of the two here. If you have to compare these two now, 18,500 and 15,000, what will be your results? Is a favorable one, right? That would be the addition of these two. 2,000 favorable, 1,000 favorable. The result will be what?
3,500.
3,500. Do you see that? So 18,500 minus 15,000 will give you what?
3,500.
3,500.
So now in terms of fixed cost,
1,000.
1,000 advert.
1,000 adverse because you spent more. You planned 10,000, the actual is what? 1,000. Now for your profit, the variance will be what? Your actual is 7,500. Your budgeted in terms of flex is what? 5,000. So what would be the variance?
2,500.
Variance will be what?
Because I am advocate.
500 favorable. So calculate the variances between the actual and the fixed and summarize in a form suitable for management.
So listen to me with patience. If you are in a relationship with a man you will not respect, please marry that man.
Please mute your mics.
So calculate the variances between the actual and the flex budget and summarize in a form suitable to management. Use a marginal costing approach. So this is what the question wants you to do. Yes, this is what the question wants you to do. Now, I forwarded the question, 2 questions to the WhatsApp group. Let's go there. I don't know if I have it on this laptop. So let's go there. Everybody, I believe you are with your book. Nobody is on transit. So let's go to the question. Let's see. Forwarded 2 questions. Can somebody read that of Toby? Toby Nigeria Limited.
Can I read?
Very well.
Okay. Toby Nigeria Limited is a publishing company established in the early 1970s. The company has recently been taken over by Superior Quality Limited, a multinational company operating in Europe. Mr. Idet Akpan, a staff of Superior Quality Limited, has been sent from the company's headquarters to review, among other things, the budgeting and reporting system used by Toby Nigeria Limited. During his visit to all the departments, he discovered that monthly budgets are prepared for each department in the company. Upon request, the last budget statement for the school stationery production department for period V was presented to him. The budget statement presented was as follows. Budget statement for period V, department, SSP department, actual results, unit produced, 45,000, labor hours 130,050. Actual results, we have budget and then the variances. Direct material, actual result is 907.2, the budget 800. Variance 107.2 in brackets. Direct labor 442.8, 400, the budget 42.8 in bracket. Variance. Variable production overhead 284.4, 240 for budget, 44.4 in bracket for variance. Then fixed production overhead 212.4, 187 for budget, 25.4 for variance. Variable admin overhead 147.6, 133 for budget, 14.6 for variance. Fixed admin overhead 180, 160 for budget, 20.0 for variance. The total cost is as follows. Then sales value of production and profit. Mr. Tola Ademola, school stationery manager, interaction with Mr. Tola Ademola, the school stationery manager, revealed that the budget statement presented was based on 40,000 units with a standard labor content of 3 hours per unit. Mr. Akpan observed that Tola was not in any way enthusiastic about the budget system. He saw it as a pressure system imposed by the company's top management to indict some of the managers. He pointed out that the system was hurriedly introduced by high flyer consults about 12 months ago. The consultant never took time to talk to the managers or provide explanation that could assist users to understand the system. The experienced school stationery manager was doubtful about the competence of the consultant. He was of the opinion that the system introduced in Toby Nigeria Limited was either a ready-made one developed for another company, or that the consultant did not understand the system well enough to give him the needed confidence to educate the users. He concluded by stating that he was sure his department made a loss as against the positive figure recorded in the report, and there was the possibility of reporting a loss at another period when profit was actually made. The situation reported above cuts across virtually all the departments, and so the need to nip the situation in the board became very urgent. The task of making budgeting system more useful and acceptable in a biased environment like this, no doubt, seems difficult. Therefore, Mr. Akpan has requested from you an advice that will assist him in getting out of the woods. Required, redraft the budget statement in a more informative manner. B, discuss the behavioral problems brought out in this situation. C, discuss the steps Mr. Akpan should take to remedy the situation. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, sir, for that. Yes, looking at this question, just coming across this question in the exam, what will you do? Don't put your hand on your head and say these people have come again. They've not come from anywhere. So this question is all about flex budgets. Ma, what will you do, ma?
Sweat. I will sweat inside AC.
You said?
I will sweat. I will start sweating. I will start panicking. I will start sweating. I will be sweating inside AC. They don't laugh
You
with
serious?
Naya.
Don't sweat. Oh. The essence of the class is to make you familiarize yourself with how the questions will come. Yes. So it's just to make us know how questions will come. So once you see these variables, actual results, budget, variance, your mind should begin to go to the issue of flexed budgets, flex budgets, giving actual, giving budget. So to solve this question, that we should redraft the budget statements in a more informative manner. Looking at the variables given, we have actual results. This is actual results. Unit produced, actual, 45. Labor hours, actual, 130,050 hours. We have 3 columns, actual results, budget, variance, that we should redraft. We are to redraft to determine our flexed budget. Based on the solution, the example we just saw, the first entry in that example was what? The first entry in that example was what? Sales. You know, once you're trying to determine flexed budgets, you go with your marginal approach. Now, in terms of your actual sales in this question is what? See it, sales value of production, isn't it? Sales value of production, actual,
480. No, 2790.
Yes, actual. So for you to get your flexed, what will you do? For you to get your flexed, you get your flex by looking at your budget. You are also giving sales value of production for budget, which is what? 2480. What will be the unit value? The unit value, the sales price for 1 unit in terms of budget. Can anybody try? The sales value. You know, this is the overall sales value. My question to you now is, what is our budgeted unit? You must know your budgeted unit. Then you divide your budgeted unit by this sales value of production to get a unit price. Yes, the unit price for the budgeted units. Looking at the question, interaction with Mr. Tola Ademola, the school stationery manager, revealed that the budget statement presented was based on what? How many units?
40,000.
40,000 units. This is your budgeted unit with a standard labor content of 3 hours per unit. Now, for me to get my budgeted value in terms of sales for 1 unit, what will I do? It will be this 2,480,000 divided by what? 40,000 units.
40,000.
Yes. 2,480,000 divided by 40,000 units. That could give us what, please?
62.
62, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That 62 is your sales value for 1 unit in terms of budget. So for you to get your flexed sales value, what will you do?
Multiply by 45,000.
Very good.
Unit
Your
produced.
actual, multiply by your actual units produced. The actual units produced. The actual units produced. When you multiply that 62 by 45, what will you get?
2,790,000.
Very good. 2,790,000. That will be your flexed budget, your flexed value. That will be your flexed value.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
That is giving us the same value as the sales value of the production in the actual.
Yes,
the actual
yes.
results.
You don't need to panic. You are very correct. It shows there is no variance. Yes. Yes. You know, when you are in the exam hall now, you begin to think, am I right? You start canceling. Don't cancel. Yes. You don't need to cancel your work. Once you are following the principle, that is for sales. That is for sales. Now, having determined your sales, what else will you consider? What else will you consider?
Variable.
Just variable cost. You see that simple example we just solved? It might look so very simple, but is the key to solve all this. Is the key to solve this. Yes. Don't mind the stories you are seeing, these paragraphs. These paragraphs of stories. It's just there. Yes. So we look at our variable cost. Our variable cost. Now, looking at this question, what are the variable costs?
Direct material, direct labor, variable production overhead, variable admin overhead.
Fine. Okay, let's hold it there. Now, for direct material, your budgeted value is what? 800,000. So what will be the value of 1 unit? The value of 1 unit in terms of direct material?
20, sir.
How do you get 20, sir?
800,000 divided by 40,000.
Very good. So that's 20. You multiply that value by what?
By 45,000.
12,000.
When you multiply that, what will you get?
900,000.
Very good. 900,000. That is your flex value. Who is not getting this? You are not getting it. I want to hear from you. Because the essence of this is that I want everybody to solve this now. You quickly solve it now. You solve it now. We've solved 2. We've talked about the cells. We've talked about the material. So you solve for direct labor. You solve for the variable production overhead. You solve for variable admin. Yes. I want you to quickly do that. Yes. So I will just call the name at random. You give me the figures. I will just call the name at random. You give me the figure. So I want you to know that the thing is not difficult. That is the essence. Yes. So you solve based on the formats, the example, what we've shown in the example. You have your, if you like, you can have your budgets, your flex, your actual, but majorly you are comparing your flex and your actual.
So what are we looking for now? Is just to know the direct labor, only direct labor. Okay?
No, not only direct labor, sir. Direct labor, variable production overhead, variable admin,
Okay.
Are you giving us classwork? I'm just joining you.
I've been hearing your voice since, ma.
No, I'm joining back now. It's like you are giving us classwork.
Yes, ma.
What are we working on?
You solve for direct labor, flex value, variable production overhead, flex value, fixed production overhead. No, rather, variable admin, because fixed is not changing. Variable admin overhead, the flex value.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Ehinomen, are you there, sir?
Yes, I am, sir.
Have you been able to determine the value for direct labor, sir?
Yes, sir.
What do you have, sir?
For direct labor, the flex is 450,000.
Right.
Variable production overhead is 270,000, sir.
All right. That is fine.
Variable admin is 210,375.
Variable admin. Can you
Variable
check that?
admin overhead.
Can you check that again, sir?
Let me see. 187. Okay.
Is there any other person there? Mr. Manlat.
Sorry, I was looking at the wrong figure. Let me correct it.
Right. Mr. Manlat, are you there?
It's 149625.
All right, I think I'm comfortable now. Mr. Babajide, they say today is Valentine. I don't know. So I'm just calling the mails anyway. Mr. Babajide.
Today is Valentine.
Yes, sir.
Are you with us, sir?
Yes. I just got.
Okay, sir.
Following.
All right, yes, sir. Okay. Madam Juliet.
Sir.
Are you getting it, ma?
I'm still fighting over it.
Okay, don't worry, you'll be victorious, ma. So just fight over it and always let me know the outcome. Yes. Mr. Ikechukwu.
Money, sir.
Wow. Okay. Don't worry. You overcome.
Amen, sir.
Good bean. Are you getting it?
Sir, my network is very bad, so I didn't get it.
Wow. It's serious. Okay. All right. Okay. Madam Odun Ayoma, are you getting it? My
Yes,
just your network is bad.
Yes, my network is bad, but I'm getting it.
Okay. Okay. Madam Victoria, hope we are fine, ma.
Yes, sir. I'm getting it. Still on it.
Okay, all right, it's fine. All right.
And sir,
Yes, ma'am.
are we using the labor hours in calculating the direct labor?
No, just follow what
Okay,
we've
I
done
got
in the example.
450.
Yeah, you're very correct.
Thank you, sir.
And Macaulay,
Sir,
are you getting it?
so I got 450 for direct labor. Variable production overhead. I don't know, maybe I got it right. 270.
It's correct. It's correct.
Then the other one is 150 approximately.
Okay, approximately fine.
Thank you, sir.
Madam Tai, hope you are getting it, ma'am. Okay, so Ruthbin, what we're trying to do, did you follow the example we've done?
Yes, sir.
All right, fine. In this question, our budgeted unit is what? 40,000 units. 40,000 units. Now, we are giving our budgeted sales value in terms of production to be what? 2,480,000. Now, for you to get the cost of one unit in terms of your budget based on sales, it will be what? 2,480,000 divided by what? 40,000 units that is budgeted for. And we derive 62, if I'm not mistaken. So this 62, for you to have a flex result, you multiply 62 naira by what? The actual results, actual units produced, which is 62 multiplied by what? 45,000 units. You get the flex value in terms of what? Sales. In terms of sales. Just as we've solved in our example. In the example, we are given the sales price, budgeted sales price to be 10. So 10 multiplied by what? The actual unit produced, which was 12,000, we're able to get 120. So in this case, we are not giving the sales value per unit. So we need to work for it. And that is why we pick this overall value of 2,480,000 divided by 40,000 units to get the sales value for one unit. Multiply that by the actual unit produced, which is 45. We have the flexed sales value. So also for direct material, for the budgeted value is 800,000 divided by 40,000 units. You have what? You have 20, right?
Yes.
So that 20 multiplied by 45,000, you understand? You get the flexed value, the flex value of your direct material, the flex value of your direct material. So just as we've solved in that example, same approach we have to apply for direct labor too. Yes, same approach you have to apply. So you say your sales less your variable cost. So for those of us that have solved, our sales less our variable cost will give us a contribution of what?
So please, I need more clarification on that labor because the labor per hour was given or is given.
Yes,
The three-
the labor per hour is given. Where is it? That's units with a standard labor content of 3 hours per unit. 3 hours per unit. So the total hours used in producing 40,000 units, which is budgeted, is what?
Okay, we need to multiply it by 3.
It's because you
Maybe I
asked the
will-
question, sir. It's because you asked the question. You don't need that variable. Yes, you don't need that variable. That is why I just say solve based on what we've treated in the example, and you get your results. Coming to use this variable, 3 hours per unit, is for you to solve it in another way, which can be very confusing. Yes, which can be very confusing. Yes, but if you solve based on what I've displayed, you don't need that variable. That variable.
Okay.
Yes.
That means solving, sir, it will be 400 divided by 40, cool?
Very fine.
Multiply by 130, 50, cool?
No, multiply by the unit producer.
Okay, this one has nothing to do with the labor hour up there.
No.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
So, we've been talking about your flex value with your unit. Is the unit produced that is the key, the subject matter here. In terms of flex, the unit produced. The unit produced. Some of the variables can be put there just to get you confused. You understand? So the principle is the units produced. Actual units produced is what you have to look out for. Yes, not the actual labor hours, except you want to go through a long route. Yes, that might not end well. But the simple and the smart approach is what I have displayed to you, sir. So,
okay, sir.
Yes. Mr. Shaibu, what is your question, sir?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
So sorry for throw you back. I've been joining network, just take me out, join network, take me out. So say I don't get anything, I not learn anything from it. So I don't know. I see divide, multiply 40, all those ones. I'm try. I don't know. So sorry, sir.
You go and watch the video, sir.
Oh boy, man. And the video, you see, your video, I'm trying to locate it. I didn't see anyone.
Sir,
and then you don't send
forwarded-
anyone to platform.
I forwarded
Yeah.
the old videos to the group yesterday from my YouTube link. Maybe you are not social media friendly. So
That's
maybe that
really
is why
true.
you've not seen it. Some of
Yes,
us that
work.
are always online for 24 hours. So
Especially work and work make us not to have time for all those one chick. This way. Thank you, sir.
You have to stress yourself small, sir.
Okay. I will.
Yes. So you ask for
I
the
will.
grace. You stress yourself
Seriously.
small. Everybody
I will.
here now, everybody like enjoyment. Everybody want to be sleeping. Everybody want to relax. But because of we know what we are looking for, and that is why we are here.
Yeah. In days of sleep, I not rest you. Seriously. This way. You
All right.
know that. Sorry, you know that. This way. Thank you.
All right, no problem. All right. So in terms of the contribution, has anybody been able to derive the contribution? Your sales less variable cost.
Yes, sir.
1,020,000.
Okay, 1,020,000. So, having ascertained your contribution, you can now less your fixed cost to get what? To get your profit. So,
So the contribution is 1,020,375.
Hey, wait.
very well, fine. That is correct, sir. So you less your fixed cost. your fixed cost. Less your fixed
678,000 approximately.
6 what?
673,375.
17,000 approximately.
Okay, 673,375. So that is the net profits. Then you compare with your actual results to get your variance. Let me show the workings from the Pathfinder. Let me go to the Pathfinder to show what they've done. So see, it's 12 marks free of charge. 12 marks. 12 marks. So check your flex results. Compare with what you have in your book and mark yourself.
Lisa, which diet is this?
This diet now. Oh, we are just used to the question. I don't need to follow diet.
I'm not
See,
seeing your screen. I logged out, but I'm still not seeing the
I
screen.
think March, July 2020. If I'm not mistaken. Yes, March, July 2020.
Thank you, sir.
March, July 2020. So this is their solution.
Check, sir.
Before we go,
See, I know the rich one near Abani.
hey, also go pick on.
It's that Taiwo, don't they speak? Don't they?
Yeah, I'm only permitted to speak two languages, like Igbo and Hausa. So,
Excuse me,
Madam,
sir. You asked us. You asked
So
us to
as
solve it.
simple as this, sir.
it's as simple as this now. 12 marks free of charge. But the fact is this: you have to know the concept. Once you know the concept, to me, flex budget is very straight and direct. But once you don't know the concept, you think it's one serious matter. It's nothing serious. Yes. So the other question too, I forwarded, is also similar to this. You can see it's examination friendly. Yes. So I'm hoping that it should be tested again. Yes. It should be tested again.
Amen.
But the other one is related to, once you determine your flex budget, they will now ask you to talk about the variance. Yes, so you can also check that question and attempt. You can check that question and attempt. So I think from the Pathfinder, these are the two flex budget questions. Yes, in relation to this topic. So I'm hoping that it should come again. So please, in case you didn't get this, you go back to that example again and try to solve this. Solve that example again and solve this question. In case you are finding it difficult to determine any figure to get this, please reach out to me. Whatever I'm doing, I'll leave it and attend to you between now and tomorrow. Because if you message me on Monday, I'll be busy from 7 a.m. till like 6. I'll definitely struggle to hold my class on Monday like that. So if you know you are not getting any figure, that is you that joined the class from the beginning, you that joined at the middle, you watch the video again, and it is when you watch the video and you didn't get anything, you now come to me. Yes. So
Hello, sir. I have a question.
Ma, I didn't get you, ma.
Okay, I said I have a question.
All right, ma.
Okay, like now, in my own app, I approximated the figures that
Yes,
came
ma.
in under variable admin, right?
Yes, ma.
So my final answer is approximated. Hope will not subtract marks for me on that.
No, they will not subtract mark. Once you are approximating, just be consistent. If you are using 2 decimal places, be consistent with it. If you are using 3 decimal places, be consistent with it. Any questions that have approximation, that have decimal, your answer should be within a certain range. Yes. That should be within certain range. Yes.
All right. Thank you, sir.
So we have one more issue to look at under budget, which is flexible budget. This is flexed. Comparing your actual with your adjusted budget. Your adjusted budget in relation to actual is flexed. So we still have one more issue to look at in budget. And that's that one. If you don't know the concept of high-low method, go and revise it. So we'll talk about it. So the concept of flexible budgets, that is preparing budget based on different activity level. Yes, different activity level. You have 60% activity level, 20% activity level, 30% activity level. Once you have range of activity level and you're asked to prepare budget, you must apply your high-low method. That topic, that aspect of budgeting have been tested 2 times. It was tested last year, tested some years ago. So that same question that was tested some years ago was repeated last diet. No, not last diet, last year in one of the diets. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to
Maize diet.
May diet, right? Fine. So we're going to look at that aspect of budget in our next class. So please, the other question I forwarded to the platform on this topic, I need the solution. If you know you don't understand what we've discussed, how we get some certain variables, please do well to reach out to me. I will explain to you. Because I don't want anybody to be in this class and you don't understand this. Yes, this is too simple for you not to understand. So, and it is too simple for you to see it in the exam hall and not be able to attempt it. So that is all I have to say for now. Is there any question? Any question? All right, meet tomorrow for FM, financial management.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
May God reward you, sir.
Have a good night, sir. We're grateful, sir.
Thank you, sir.